Alright, well hello, welcome to my channel. Now, typically I do motorcycle content here, but today, as you guessed from the thumbnail and the title, doing a lift kit on a golf cart. Here's the golf cart before. So this is a Club Cart DS. I don't know exactly what year it is. If you're here for entertainment, I appreciate the view. Hope you enjoy the video. Gonna have some redneck fun. If you're here because you're actually maybe thinking about doing something like this to a golf cart, let me get you some information. This is a Jake's lift kit, economy 4-inch. So this does actually require you to chop the frame. That's where these Z brackets go in. The rear should be a little more straightforward. So that's where I'm actually going to start with this. But as you can see, I've got it up on some jack stands in the front here, right on the frame rail, and back here in the rear, kind of on the angle piece, a set of 2 jack stands holding it up back here, so I'll have room to work. So we got the springs out. Basically, the way this kit's going to work is we're going to mount the axle on the underside of the leaf spring instead of the top side, and that's going to give us the lift. And then also, we're going to put these heavy-duty leaf springs on here so that it'll support passengers better. Alright, so I got the axle supporter with a jack stand. I'm going to remove the top of the strut. That's where it mounts. Everything is really dirty, so I'll probably clean it up a little bit. And then these bushings right here in the ends, got to clean these up and clean up the hardware because these are going to get used on the new leaf springs. It's empty. There we go. Okay, time to put the new shocks on. Those mount up on that little hole. Got new hardware in the bag. Gonna make sure that this part with the raised edge goes in the hole, both top and bottom. So it'll look like this on this side. And we'll put this one together up here. Loctite on the threads. I'm gonna put the camera down because I need 2 hands. This goes up there, and then a nut goes on it. Alright, so then you tighten this in tight enough so it compresses those little bushings enough that you can get another nut on the end. And then you tighten that against it, and that's the jam nut. So when you tighten those together, you can't loosen up. Goes in the center hole with the Allen head on the inside so that the can locate this bracket on the axle. We have the rear mount up, front mount up. This is loosely clamped together. Got the same thing done on the other side, you can see over there. And next we're gonna hook up the shocks and then clamp everything down tight. Alright, final overview of the kit as it went on. Here's the new parts. Heavy duty leaf spring. Got these retightened. It's a nylock nut, but it's reused, so I also added blue Loctite on both ends. Shock is tightened down. Got blue Loctite on that and the lock nut, both top and bottom. See kind of how the whole assembly looks. On this side as well. Alright, now that the lift kit is done, at least in the rear, let's check out these wheels. These things look pretty sick. And they also come with hubcap insert, which I think you want to stick on first from the inside. Alright, as cool as those little inner caps are from the outside, I'm actually going to recommend not to run with them because they sit proud of the mounting surface in here, which will not allow this to sit flush with the hub. And when you got plastic in the joint, that'll slowly relax, and then it's just going to allow a gap in here, and then your lug nuts are going to loosen up on you. So, while this was a nice touch, I don't think it's good to use it. Okay, with the rear end put back together, I've configured my jacking lifting situation. Got these on the ramps so I can use taller jack stands in the front, just to give myself more room to work. So now what's going to happen, got to put these templates. That triangular one is going to go right here to trim this piece off to gain clearance, and then these other two templates are going to go on the frame rails to mark where I need to drill and cut. Then these Z brackets are going to get installed, steering shaft extension, and then that should take care of the front. Alright, well that multi-tool worked pretty good. Now I got some 100 grit sandpaper. Just gonna clean up the cut a little bit. Template is taped on. Got a center punch, drill out all those holes up to 3/8. Then we're gonna mark the frame where that dotted line is and cut it. The holes are drilled out. I need to use this line to mark the frame. Alright, last thing to do before cutting is just to undo the steering linkage. Then this whole assembly should be able to drop down since we have this separated as well. Alright, so check this out. I'm going to try to cut this just by myself without anyone else helping me. So I've got this jack system rigged up so that when this front part of the frame comes free, it is securely strapped to this whole top portion of this motorcycle jack, and I'll be able to easily just lower it down to where it needs to go, put the Z brackets on, and bolt it up. Another good thing you want to do before bolting the plates on is to use something like a deburring tool to get all the burrs off the metal so that everything will clamp together nice and tightly. Alright, so the steering extension piece actually has a U-joint on one end. So I'm going to take this one all the way off. It'll make straightening the wheel a little easier. And that looks right. Get the splines there to mesh. Alright, I got all 8 of the bolted joints here started up. They're in there loosely. Took a little bit of finagling, shaking this around, going up and down to get everything in and started. And now that it's in there, I'm going to start tightening up. Okay, one thing to note, there is a new bumper that comes with the kit to try to bridge the gap. However, with this part being moved, this does interfere with the plastic. So I think it'll all go together. It's just, these will have to get bolted down to this piece. And then you have to push pretty hard in order to get these holes to line up right here. Alright, so I just went to start this up to take it for a test ride. And one important thing which the kit does not mention at all, so keep in mind, the whole back end is lifted up higher than it was before, and I had to drop the axle way down low to get it underneath for the new location of the leaf springs. So what actually happened on the starter motor, this ground connection actually pulled right out of the terminal ring right there. So if you're lifting your cart, you're going to want to check the ground wire on your starter, make sure it's long enough, otherwise you're going to have to get a longer one. Alright, so I managed to find a longer piece of wire. Slipped over the heat shields. Also cleaned up all the contacts with the contact cleaner spray, and then crimped the ends onto a new piece of wire. Well, there it is. That looks pretty awesome if you ask me. Totally transformed this golf cart.